Hey, do you like Gundam? Do you like watching us watch Gundam? You can go ahead and get double episodes of Gundam over on the Patreon if we get up to 30 Patreons. Go ahead and join and do your part, and you'll go ahead and get double the Gundam. Hey everybody, welcome back to our Stoneface Reactions. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we're watching some Gundam, or Mobile Suit Gundam Origins. Or is it just Mobile Suit?
Mobile Suit Gundam,
Mo
The Origin,
there we go.
which is
That
the
is the
6-episode
correct
OVA that was released, what, 7 years ago, maybe? That is itself an animated version of a manga release to cover events that happened before the original show's release, which may or may not have inconsistencies to the show itself, which we'll handle on a case-by-case basis, but we'll be considering canon for the most part.
We're already one episode in, we're watching the second episode today, but before we get to all that, we have a whole lot of talk and a whole lot of comments to go through. And of course, we're going to start with the biggest and best comment here from Top Quotes 2415, who is here to talk about Gundam 00.
I think they're actually just top quotes. I know that's what you're probably seeing below here in the open area. The comments slowly scrolling by. But when you look at it from the YouTube channel owner's point of view, we just see your actual YouTube names and not the chosen names. So I think your name is actually Top Quotes, and that's your YouTube name that got read out.
There you go. So if you need some top quotes, well, you got one right here, and it's 3 pages long. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're not going to read it word for word like most of ours, but we are going to go ahead and discuss it here. So what I'm seeing here from Top Quotes is like very sort of high-level analysis. So I'm going to go ahead and start there. I'm going to say, I think Gundam 00 is too unspecific in its ideology to hit super hard. I've already said that, and that would be where my criticism comes from here. That's after saying things like, it looks great, it sounds great, it has characters that are interesting in it, and it was fun to watch. So we're like 10 steps up like in the criticism ladder here to even get here. So when it comes down to Aeola's plan here, it kind of doesn't hit because it is trying its best not to blame anything in particular. If we're just talking about the ego of individuals, it kind of misses like the broader systems that cause things. Like we're dealing with like nation states and the United Nations and military interventions. No individual ego is going to be at fault for anything, nor is any individual ego going to do much against the system of mechanics that are around them. If you have a soldier like Sergei, and he's told to do an order, he's going to do an order. His ego, despite, his own feelings, and like he says here, he's was judging his own integrity throughout the series and coming to different conclusions. None of that really changes anything until he is up against the system. While he's still a soldier, he's still a part of the machine. So Gundam 00 doesn't really address the systemic issues that lead to the continuation of conflicts and how individuals are not really there. We do, as people, suffer from people who try to push big man history and say the one person did all of this. But every human effort is obviously a collection of everyone doing a whole bunch of things. Sometimes for their own reasons, sometimes because that's just the position and job that they're in, and they're just getting through the day. So there's a whole lot that's not addressed, but it's hard to say if Gundam is the series to address that. Gundam is the series about war bad, not necessarily about how to geopolitically realign. Gundam 00 gave it its best shot, though, so I'm not going to go ahead and fault it for that. But, we did dunk on Aeola's plan for quite a while. Some of it is rather goofy. And I think ultimately we just come down to disagreeing with it more than anything. I think that would be my final statement. The plan isn't the worst plan ever, but it is a bit goofy, and it probably doesn't address specific ideological concerns. That would be my end statement. For the second half
Oh,
with
wait, wait, wait.
Setsuna, I'm
Wait,
happier with
Griff.
Setsuna than Theta is.
Let's say, let me cut you off there. Because I've also, obviously, I should say, we're responding separately because we read everything separately and everything. But
Yeah.
I've also cut mine into two sections.
Mhm.
So I feel like before you go off to the Setsuna bit,
Yeah.
I should at least read my Areola bit so we're like par for par, same parts.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and catch some air here. You go ahead and take it.
Well, mine's not going to be nowhere near as involved as yours was.
Okay, good.
Reading your comment, the first thing that came to my mind as you were explaining Aeola's three-part plan was that all of this is justification for the end justifies the means. Aeola's plan required the subversion of people's free will and active acts of terrorism against independent nations, which, without context, would be the acts of a villain. That you know what his ultimate goal is the only reason why I could believe anyone would support it. But even then, you go on to point out that no one knows the full plan and are actively second-guessing themselves along the way. By the end of the show, I don't think either of us had any questions as to what the plan was, especially after they spelled it out to us. I just think the exception I took from the start was never abated. Thinking you know better than everyone else and enacting a plan to force all of mankind to become what you think they should be is the act of a dictator. In this case, a benevolent one, but a dictator nonetheless.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a fair criticism to take, which, again, I already mentioned the big man history, where people already falsely put people up on a pedestal for being the person to change everything, and trying to actually be that person maybe isn't technically a great thing in and of itself. Well, like you said, he's got some benevolent aims, maybe he's not entirely wrong, and you have the rickety bridge problem too. Technically, his plan went perfectly and got everyone where he was intending. The fact that the bridge could have collapsed at any time and killed everyone is probably a moral danger right there that no one should have taken. But we're across the bridge already, so it's a little late.
Yeah, I guess a good example would be the Emperor of Mankind, right? Before the fall, or I guess before the Horus Heresy, right? He's actively trying to improve mankind because he does take us to the golden age of humanity. But then, without him, what happens to humanity, right? 40k. So, literally, Rickety Bridge, we've seen it. It's Warhammer.
Warhammer is just a terrible... Warhammer 40k is a terrible universe.
Well, I'm just saying that the God Emperor of Mankind is an immortal or a persistent, I forget what they fucking call them. But he was around during our age, and he actively guided us to the golden age, right? But then there comes the Horus Heresy, and what happens to humanity without, its guiding force? Or what happens to the Gundam 00 without Veda and Aeola guiding it? Oh, humans just turned back into humans, you say? That's right, because we got fucking free will, you fascist
it's even
dictator.
worse than that. It gets even worse than that, because if we're considering, like, Aeola here, who is, like, our benevolent dictator example, right? Warhammer 40k is a little bit more like, alright, so what if the person who can save mankind and make things better is also a complete asshole and will never tell you a damn thing? And then tries to have children and pays no attention to them and ruins everything because he's completely impersonal. That's 40k. 40k is a family drama.
Anyway, the point stands.
Point stands, but I think we've gone ahead and done enough of Scheinberg's plan there. Let's go ahead and talk about Setsuna. So, when it comes to Setsuna, I think I already said my piece before. I'm fine with Setsuna. Setsuna shows growth and development in different ways, and I think top quotes here puts it nicely. He doesn't really change personality. He's still kind of the same person at the end, but he believes different things and is taking different choices. That's fine. He's just a stoic guy at the end of the day. I can live with that, and for Gundam protagonist, I like my stoics. So I'm happy. But Theta, you're the person who has more commentary and problems. Why
I
don't you
mean,
go?
again, not really. Not a lot to say here.
Okay.
I appreciate you calling Setsuna stone-faced. Really hits the brand.
Yeah.
Now, I don't particularly
He's a
recall...
third caster.
I don't particularly recall saying that he'd never grown or developed, as you start off with. My opinion of his personality never changed, as it never really did.
Mm-mm-mm.
How he felt about people and his motivations may have developed, but how he expressed them never did. That is where I fall off on the character. You say that the way he is presented isn't typical, but for me he fits into a very typical slot of complex yet emotionally distant characters, like Mikazuki and Hiro, from the same genre. I don't disagree that his personality makes sense for what he grew up in and went through. My whole thing about it was that it doesn't make him a character I like watching.
Right. So there's definitely a difference between the critical Setsuna is a bad character and Theta, you just saying you don't like him because he's not your kind of dude. And that's perfectly fine. That's a fair assessment.
Look, I hold true to the Plank test, right? If
Yeah.
Plank from Ed, Edd and Eddy can replace you, literally, which is just to say that all of the characters around you are doing the emotional heavy lifting, right? Like, oh my god, they're doing this thing over here. Turn, look, it's Plank sitting in a Gundam. A turn back. Now let's talk to each other about what this means. Setsuna doesn't voice a lot of the shit that's important to him. He deals with it all internally. This isn't the kind of show you get internal monologue, which means he's just a plank of wood.
I think he showcases at least a couple of different emotions during the show. He's not entirely plankable, but that's my opinion, and I'd have to like go back into some episodes to like demonstrate that more specifically.
I also feel like there's going to be a defense coming out from somewhere where someone's like, "Oh, but you really love Sulutta. You're giving her a pass." I was like, "Yeah, I liked her, and then I just dunked on every other protagonist from every other show that we just watched." So it's like, no, I'm not giving everybody a pass. I liked one out of the bunch.
Look, if there's one person that doesn't deserve a pass, it's Mikazuki. But let's go ahead and keep going.
I mean, Mikazuki and Hiro are just the same guy. Just Hiro is the one that develops more out of any of them. He's fucking getting married.
Hiro is the one that like demonstrably cares a lot. Mikazuki is the person who demonstrably does not. So, I think that's going to go ahead and wrap up the mega comment. Let's go into the smaller ones now. Because we got JT talking to us from Gundam 00 Season 2, Episode 25, Beyond. I guess Innovate are not real innovators. In the movie, it did mention that they created with some people's DNA from centuries ago by Aola. Even with scientific modification, the genes are still not evolved enough to have the potential to become an innovator.
Oh, just like our 40K reference, huh? The Innovades are just the kids he didn't pay attention to.
Oh no! It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Star Wars.
Dog, do you want to go? Dog, here. Why don't you go? Second part of comment. The TNC, Tools of Evolution, are not available during that century, which is why Aeola's plan is meant to execute a few centuries later. As for Aeola's intention not to bring the sparks of conflict, he means not bringing wars outside of the solar system. Even with current technology, they can still travel outside the solar system to explore the universe.
You read that in the wrong... They still can't. You said they can.
Oh, yeah.
The text, they still can't.
They still can't. Okay, they can... The only person who did is Setsuna, who has, like, the weird wormhole portal at the end of the movie.
Yep.
That's all we get. But yeah, I think, I think even before the movie, Ribbons was making it clear that the Innovates are not the real innovators, that he's still attempting to attain it, and he's trying to take that from Setsuna in some way. He is jealous. So I think that was at least clear. And that's perfectly fine. The Innovates are just neat little things that happen. They're psychic people, and they basically deal with Veda. I'm cool with that. It's probably the coolest, like, individual sci-fi thing in the whole show, I think. That's my opinion. But Theta, what are your thoughts there?
I mean, I think we covered a lot of this in the mega comment. I guess the only thing is that Aeoliolo didn't want wars to be fought outside the solar system, so he engaged in a centuries-long subjugation of humanity via his AI.
A manipulative terrorism scheme, I guess.
Well, yes, it was filled with bits of terrorism and a lot of manipulation. Like, how many generations of kids, what, 3 at least that I'm aware of, had to be grown up trusting Veda, an AI, where I guess only the first generation would have had any contact with Aeola. So, you're literally in a cult. Celestial being is a cult. You know, our great leader created the computer 3 centuries ago, or 3 decades rather. 3 decades ago. God, I don't remember how long. Oh, it must be a lot longer than a long time ago. And now we trust its command, unquestioningly.
I want to say, it's not necessarily the case that it has to be true, but I think demonstratively through the characters in the show, they have enough of this faith in Veda that it is essentially more of a religion now. Granted, they get to talk directly to their god, so they already got a heads up on everyone.
I think more so, at least from what I gathered from the little bit of manga that I did go read, it's more so that the early generations must have been the cult, right? Sipping the Kool-Aid and whatnot. The later generations, Veda had a stranglehold over, because if you didn't agree with Veda, or Veda sees you to be a threat to the plan, Veda will just remove your ability to interact with all of this cool high-tech shit that you've been dealing with this whole time. You'll be cut off from the system, at which point, that's not even believing in shit anymore. That's
just not being exiled from your society because it's where all your friends are.
That's resource control.
That's the usual threat people take it.
Well, I mean, like in the manga, Thrones come to take Farichet's solar reactor or whatever it was, and Veda just says, Farichet, you're not part of Celestial Being anymore. Ooh. It's like, oh, well, shit. It's like, that's just a threat that Veda can level at you. That's like, not even like a conscious level, like thinking person threat. Just, Veda now considers you out of the blue to be not something that will aid in the development of the plan, so you're just gone.
There you go. I guess the difference with a cult, usually, at least in modern cults, is that they don't want you to leave. So, you know, different things. Let's go to High Priest next. Same episode. Healing and Revive were still disabled until Ribbon shut off the trial field by destroying Seraphim. Those on the Ptolemy don't know where Tiara is currently, so they figured he got blown up too. Ribbon's new suit is either not connected to Veda or can resist the trial field. Is this making any sense to you?
I think somewhere along the line in the episode we mentioned something about Ribbons being able to fly around when everybody else couldn't.
Right. So there is, like, the show does drop enough information about, like, Celestial Being and Veda, like, having some plans to deal with, like, other Gundams and, like, externalities, and the trial field is, like, one of those that I think maybe, like, has escaped my attention. Like, I never noticed them drop it, and I didn't really think about it. But,
well, I mean,
honestly,
it's the same control that Veda expresses over other things. Like, when Veda releases Aeoliola's message and makes everybody able to do Trans Am, it's the same concept. I think we've done it before where it shut them down too. The thrones,
Yeah.
I think it shut down the thrones at one point.
Yeah, I don't have anything wrong with it, obviously, but thank you for telling us like exactly more precisely what happened there. It is slightly more clear why the two goons did not come and help in it originally. But last comment here is Sorlaxis. That's how I'm going to choose to pronounce it.
Solar 6?
Yeah, Sorlaxis.
Solar 6. It's either that or it's Solaris XYZ.
Mhm. Ribbon's VA is the VA for Amuro Ray, the pilot of the RX-78 from the OG Gundam series. O Gundam is a reference to the RX-78. The final pose where he is holding the beam saber with both hands is an iconic stance that Amuro uses while piloting the RX-78.
I'm pretty sure I said that during the episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is like some of the Gundam self-referential stuff, and given the way like Double O is set up, it does want to set up that Ribbons is a potential other winner that is completely valid in like the whole Veda plan thing. He can become an innovator. If he wins here, he probably will. And I think like the extra animation effort and the VA choice even, it's just the show saying, look, Ribbons is a threat. He could be the winner. It's good. If you're more literate in Gundam, you've seen more of the shows, then that's a good little extra note, I think.
Well, I mean, basic storytelling tells you that Ribbons isn't going to win, so...
Well, yeah, I mean, the villain loses in the end, the hero wins in the end. Whatever. It's how we get there, right? But that is all of our comments here from our viewers. But Theta, you have some comments. Maybe some thoughts even.
Well, first off, we're going to go back to the concept board, something we haven't done since Witch from Mercury.
Oh boy.
Just to better aid my ability to, one, go insane the longer we do this, but also to better keep track of the characters. I'm just going to go over everyone now in the little web of connections that I've made here. Let's start with deikun Zabi,
the whole Zabi family here.
Yeah, the head of the family. Oh, shit. Sorry, my scroll wheel. There we go. The head of the family, and I've also put the family in alphabetical order. We have Giran Zabi, Saso Zabi, Zol Zabi, Casilia Zabi, Garma Zabi. Garma obviously being the youngest. And I've got the little connection here of Casilia and Sasro being enemies for a bit, before she bombs his car. Because, he slapped the shit out of her to the point she's just bleeding out the mouth.
Right, and she got her revenge. What I didn't realize Casilia was actually a part of the Zabi family. I thought she was just a cool lieutenant, and I think it's because of the red hair.
Well, I mean...
I think that took me for a loop.
I mean, you got gray hair, or blue hair, I don't know. Brown hair, blue hair, red hair, blue hair. So it's... I guess you're considering they all have blue hair, but their dad's bald, so what you gonna do?
Right, so if I were to go ahead and, like, make the Punnett square here, I would probably have to say, like, the red hair is, like, a recessive gene, and that's, like, the 1 in 4 example of the person who got it, and everyone else got the dominant blue-gray gene. That's what I'm seeing here. So the family still makes sense. She's just an outlier.
Could be another woman.
Good job tricking me, Show.
Another one we didn't know. I've also got the red line here. Because red line, obviously, as you can see here, means enemies or opposition. Blue means family member.
Yeah.
Also in opposition of Jimbo Rawl, who is father to Rumble Rawl. Green indicates ally. Because he's got this ally here in Crawley Heyman, who themselves has the ally of Tachi Ohara, which is that guy from the docks.
Yeah, the guy they eventually convinced to load them up.
Yep. Rumble himself is an ally of Astria Tor Deikun. I don't know why I said the middle name there. I've never read anyone else's middle name.
Yeah.
You were about to say something.
Oh, I was about to say, so Theta, you told me at least, you've limited this to characters who will appear again or another series. And I'm looking at Tachi down there, I'm just like, the dock worker comes back?
Well, I wasn't going to share that out loud, so thank you for splitting that out for me. But
Hey, it's good to know. We're keeping track of the people who will matter very heavily here.
Well, I didn't want to give away that I'd done any amount of research, so I guess now I have to explain it. So thanks for wasting a little bit more time, Griff.
You're welcome.
Yeah, no, I didn't look at any other thing other than to look at the names of the... I rewatched the entire first episode again, doing this. And anybody who got named, I went through and I typed their name up, and I just looked for appearances. And if they appeared in any other medium, other than manga, of course, because we're only doing the shows, if they appeared in any other show, they're getting a spot, because that means that they at least had the forethought to bring them back or continue them. So, that's where they stand.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as I was going on,
deikun family.
Romble Rawl, ally to Austria, deikun. We also have the connecting tissue over here of Deikun Zabi, being an enemy of Zeon deikun. Pointedly, Austria is the mistress. She's not the wife, she is the mistress of Zeon. Roslucia over here is Zeon's wife.
Oh no,
so,
now it all makes sense.
That's why we have the, I made them related, although clearly I don't know how much you consider the mistress to be related. That's a question for Mashuko Tensei to answer when the maid comes back. No. But yeah, so yeah, Zeon and Artesia, their kids, casval and Artesia. I'm still going to be suffering to get the names in my head. Specifically, the difference, Artesia and Artesia, for some reason, are just so close in my mind. I'm just going to have to remember that. And of course, Artesia has a cat named Lucifer.
You are missing like one of the most critical.
I was tempted to make a red line connection between Ramba and Lucifer, but they're technically not enemies. Lucifer is just a fucking cat.
They are allies and they are enemies. I think that makes sense.
I am not going to let you do this to me again, like you did in Witch from Mercury.
Look, the cat is, of course, the best character in the whole series. I'm glad that we are having a focus on this. So, I think this goes ahead and like very clearly explains it. We have the Zabi family who possesses the Death Note and give heart attacks to the deikun family. The fact that the Rawl family got completely swept up in all this and is basically also destroyed now alongside the deikun family.
Well, he said, I'll let you decide what you do on Earth when you get there. So, we don't know. They might have assets. I also want to say there are connections that I didn't put down that I didn't know were important enough to, that I'm like waiting for this episode to determine. Like, Casselia, her little encounter with Casval, where Casval's like, I'm the son of Zeon, uncuff me. And then it just like goes off from there. I don't think that interaction was strong enough for a red line.
Right. They were at odds with each other because that's their actual position, but we'll have to see what Caecilia's and Casval's actual relationship is going to be later, I think.
And the other one, definitely good. The other one being Casselia again and Romble Rawl and Haemon, because at the very end of the episode, before we're like looking at the moon from Casval and Artesia's point of view, they get arrested by Casselia, but we know Casselia is literally the whole let me do the evil planning shit, right? So we don't know if she's going to backstab and kill her own family again, or we don't know what the connection there is. That's another one where I'm just waiting for episode 2 to inform me before I draw more lines.
If it comes to a family brawl, Caecelia has artillery. I think she's going to do all right. That's my initial opinion. But I do have
the whole family has artillery.
The whole family is artillery.
I mean, Dozal has artillery. He's also wearing the same uniform, you see.
Funny point, though. We did actually see Dozal die later on to casval/char, right? So he is technically dead.
No, we did not. Will you stop that, Griff?
No, never.
Well, you don't understand that I have to fix all this shit.
Well, this is so that I can actually, like, give commentary on it.
No, I understand, but I can see your mouse, so you don't have to do it.
So,
I'm
going to do it one more time here.
We did not see him die. You're talking about the very first minute of the show. Well, I guess 3 minutes or something like that. No, he's retreating. You remember, we see a bunch of ships explode. We literally just zoom in on his ship and him, like, breaking metal in his arms. He's fine.
I thought he was the one that got bridge shot by Char.
No.
That's what I thought happened.
Char bridge shot a bunch of the Federation. Hold on, I've got literally got a notepad here. Let's see. Tiananmen fleet engages Zeon Vanguard fleet in Loum sector. I added a Y in there. Admiral Dozel present. That happens January 23rd, 0079. Yeah, the Tiananmen fleet. Tiananmen, not Tiananmen, but Tiananmen fleet is the Federation fleet that's present there. That's not the Zeon fleet. Zol is in charge of the Zeon fleet.
Okay,
Admiral Zol by that point.
Kind of similar body type person. Okay.
No. Not even close. No one looks like Zol. No one looks like Dozel. I keep calling him Zol. Dozel. Nobody looks like fucking Dozel.
Mr. Zol, we have a problem. Anyway. So there is one more thing that I'm thinking about, which, Ramble Rawl did not necessarily have a lot of interactions with the kids here, but he was actually instrumental in getting them out, right? I feel like there is an ally line to be had with these three.
I fucking hate you.
But
I would also indicate that he mouth kissed Artesia. So I actually think, I don't know, this is speculation here, that Ramba is gay. So well, because we have one thing, it's Haemon who has the connective tissue. She's the one that got them out of the colony. Ramba went to her for her connections to then get them out. So it was her, not him. Also, he has a specific line that says, "What an amazing woman Haemon is. Too bad she's a woman." Or, "What an amazing person Haemon is. Too bad she's a woman."
No. That line is just sexist.
I don't think it's sexist. It came off to me like if she wasn't a woman, I would be attracted to her. That's what I read into it.
That's also a fair reading until we get other evidences. So
I don't know if Ramba exists after this show. Yeah. I only looked up the characters that weren't exactly important. Like there's a lieutenant that he brings along with him to go get Lucifer from the house. And I looked up his name, and he only appears in the origin, so I didn't include him anywhere. Whereas this dude, the dock worker guy, appears later on in another show. So it's like, I only looked up the people who weren't important this episode.
Right, so I guess I would broaden the circle to this group of people has a natural allyship. But we'll see what happens. I can just go ahead and press. Boop, there you go. It's all clean again. It's like nothing's there.
Oh, I guess my fury extends from the fact that you never did that in the Witch from Mercury one. I had to go back and fix everything.
Here we go. Heart. Theta. There we go. Now it's all better.
I thought about doing like a little block thing. I think I did that on 86 before I showed you my 86 one. Where I did like a block of background color. And alright, everybody from San Magnolia, you're in here. Everyone in the 86, you're in this red square, and everyone outside goes. And I didn't do that because characters exist beyond the means of their own factions.
Yeah.
Yeah, people can cross the line, if you will. So I don't know if any of these people, like any of the Zabi family, does anything good later on. But I want them just to exist as they are.
Obviously, Caecilia is a good person, right?
You remember when the mob came up and was swarming the car that had the deikun family in it? She's the one that comes up and gets them all clear out, so that they could escape to the Rawl family's house. So technically, that was a good thing, right?
Yeah. I definitely think Caecilia is like one of the more complicated zombie characters here so far. Like, so Giran here is an asshole, right? Like, out and out. He's just a villain. There's no other interpretation.
We haven't seen him do anything yet. Like,
He's been
literally.
brooding the entire time. Of course he's evil.
Well, no, Degwin told him, you need to be better. You need to learn how to be more subversive. And then Giran goes off to, like, play strategy games with a computer. And then when the kids are being, like, shot at in the gun tank, and Dozel is like, no, stop shooting! The kids are in there! And they call up Giran, and Giran is like, no, whatever happens, happens. I'm pretty sure even then Giran is following Degwin's orders. So I don't think Giran has independently done anything.
Right, he hasn't done anything independently, but he has the vibe, and so I'm kind of putting him on the obviously evil angle until I see more.
Well, he's clearly a
villain.
Dozel
is just a funny character. Dozel is a funny guy. He, like, is willing to just, like, flex and make himself bleed again. He's a hilarious meathead. But he has some good parts of him. Like you said, he's like, wait, don't shoot the kids. He's got some positive aspects in him.
I mean, even in the 3-minute opening where his soldiers are... Look, I have a lot of other Theta's thought section. I'll hold off on that shit to it. I'll leave that to be your thought.
Sure. And then, of course, like, Caecilia is just complicated, and Garma's a baby. Garma was not present during that episode, honestly. But
well, he was. Remember, he was at the funeral for
oh yeah,
Zeon?
You get to see them, but they're not, like, present in the story in a tangible way. They just are physically there.
Well, he was also present for the car explosion that killed Sasro, because he was in the car with Caecilia.
Oh, yeah. Alright. Still, baby, no moral judgment on him yet.
I just want to clarify that he's not a baby. He's literally, I think, the same age as casval. At least he's presented as such.
Yeah. We got no more information. We're gonna find out, though. Because I'm pretty sure he appears a whole lot.
I don't know.
So, I think that's the web for now. Theta, you said you had additional thoughts, though.
In the intro to the episode, we started in January 23rd, the day before my birthday, and 4 days before yours, witnessing a fight in the Loum sector between the Tia Nem fleet and a Zeon Vanguard fleet, led by Admiral Dozel. It seems like the point of the intro was to introduce us to what the status quo would eventually be past the backstory, as well as show us where certain characters would end up. Example being Dozel going from whatever he is at the end of the first episode to becoming an admiral that everyone salutes and wishes luck with their dying breaths. I mean, he seemed the most down-to-earth of all of the Zabis, but those people dying at the start were fanatics for him, it seemed. On top of that, we got our first look at mobile suits in the Universal Century, with Char plowing through ships. And I have to say, I loved that part too. It's been a trope of mobile suits flying up to the bridge of a ship and doing jack all before getting destroyed. So this intro already flipped that on its head.
Char is effective. But yeah, no, I love that whole intro. It was exciting.
Alright. The promise Astrea made to Artesia to meet her again in 100 cycles of the moon. If we believe it to not just be an empty promise to calm down her daughter, would be 8 years down the road. I assumed they were just words made to save her daughter, but if something happens between the two in 0076, then we'll know it was a real promise.
There you go. So something to keep a pin on.
I guess maybe I should say UC 0076. I'm not really sure how to parse the years. It seems weird to me that you would start your years off with 4 digits.
Shrug. I don't make calendars. I don't got an opinion on it, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, voice break there. Like when they start the Gregorian calendar, right? They, I guess they technically already started with a bunch of back years. But I mean, God, I guess nobody ever really starts in year 1 because you always start with a history behind you. So you're always like, well, I guess that would put us, technically we're in year 1135. You know, you always start with a back history. You never
It all depends on your reference point. Like, we got a Star Wars example where it's just like everything is after the Battle of Yavin. So you start in year
Yeah,
0
I guess that
there.
that happens in Star Wars. Yeah. All right.
Eh,
Anyway, I don't know if it was obvious or not, but Giran essentially tells Cassilia that he knows she killed Cesaro. After she comes to him, wanting him to let her take over scheming against the deikuns. The scene right after she had handcuffed Casval.
Thoughts on that? Well, I guess we can go ahead and say they're both scheming together then. Or will be throughout the series. Or are at odds. Again, we were talking about the family dynamics and who's evil for a second. I have no doubt these two are going to keep getting into trouble. Probably together.
I know we've talked about this before a number of times in various shows, but a generation is said to be about 20 to 30 years.
Yeah.
I bring this up because Rose Lucia, I'm assuming that's how you say her name, Rose Lucia mentions that she and Zeon were second-generation colonists on Munzo. That does two things for my speculations about the characters. First off, with Astrea being Zeon's mistress, it's entirely possible he went young, given how much older he and Rose Lucia look than her, and that she could be third generation and the kid's fourth generation. If she's around the same age, then the kids are just third generation, whatever. It's just something to consider. The other half of that is that the current year is Universal Century 0068, which means at the outside consideration of what a generation is, that means the first generation of colonists on Munzo were there around Universal Century 0008. I don't know how to say these numbers anymore. Or later, meaning that UC probably dictates mankind's expansion into space and the development of the colonies themselves, given how much of an overlap year 0 would have to have with the building of the colonies.
I think, like, at least from what I'm hearing here from you, it does sound like it lines up more or less properly. We don't have, like, that specific generation number like you're saying, but it sounds like we're in the right ballpark.
Well, I mean, we kind of do.
We're good enough.
We kind of do. As I said, Rose Lucia and Zeon are second-generation colonists, they say. And we're in 0068. Well, 2 generations would be 60 years at the most, 40 years at the earliest, which makes it a year 8 to year, 28 number?
Yeah.
So, meaning that would be the first generation would be anywhere between, negative time to that, which means the people that built the colony.
Okay. What else you got?
I mean, other than the timeline that I'm slowly building. That's it.
Alright, so I think that is all of our thoughts then. Let's go ahead and get into the Gundam part of it here. Last episode, we've been over a bit of it, but while giving a speech to declare the Autonomous Republic of Munzo's independence from the Earth Federation, Zeon Zum Daikon suddenly dies of a heart attack. This causes mass riots in the colony against the Federation, while Degwin Soto Zabi, Daikun's deputy, rises to power. In the midst of the chaos, Daikun's children, Casval and Artesia, along with Artesia's pet Cass Lucifer and Daikun's old friend Jimbo Rawl, stow away aboard a cargo ship headed for Earth to escape from the Zabi regime.
I think that's already wrong.
Is it?
They're heading to the moon, aren't they?
It sounded to me like the moon is a temporary stop on their way to Earth, or they are transiting around the moon.
Let me ask you this,
That is
Griff.
what I got from
Let me ask you this, Griff. If you're on a vacation to Florida, right? But you have to stay the night and say, I don't know, Tennessee.
Uh-huh.
Well, this doesn't work for you. I live on the East Coast, so my references are always north to south. Let's say you're on your way to Florida, Griff, and you have to stop over at Louisiana, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what's your current destination?
Hey, I'm heading to Louisiana first. I'm gonna stop there, and then I'm heading on to Florida.
So your current destination is then Louisiana.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. They're heading to the moon, aren't they?
Oh, God. Yeah, I feel like you're flipping the script on me.
Well, I mean, okay, let's take this from the perspective
And don't worry about it. I'm just being
from the
silly.
perspective of the people that are driving the cargo ship, right? They need to possibly stop, refuel, let off passengers, whatever. Their first stop to them is the moon. Now, everybody on the ship has to go wherever they're piloting, right? So their first stop is also the moon.
All right. So, this episode, the moon.
I assume.
So, there's also the chance we could just get like a 10-year time skip or something, and suddenly we're somewhere else.
I mean, it could be. We already did a 10-year or 11-year time skip in the episode itself.
Yeah.
Or a negative 11-year time skip.
Right. We flash back to the beginning. So I say let's go ahead and give it a watch and see where we pick up from then. But before we begin, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and comment down below to feed that algorithm. On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this unfiltered, uncensored, and uncut, as well as some early access stuff, you can check it out over on the Patreon. It's just $5 a month, but no pressure. It's all support the channel, just a little bit extra.
Click the link down below, join the Discord. Join us on the journey.
Space. The final frontier.
宇宙世紀と名付けられた。彼らの未来は地球の周りに建設された巨大なスペースコロニーに委ねられたのだ。しかし、その第二の故郷は約束された楽園ではなかった。
This looks like the inside of Rama.
They all kind of are. It's like a more realistic design for space stations, because you actually get the gravitational feel from it rotating.
So they noticed the Zeon flag's already in place.
Deikun はサイド3、すなわちムンゾに自治政府を樹立し、条件付きの自治権を地球連邦政府に認めさせた。
We're just fast forwarding, aren't we?
Yeah.
自治権の拡大と完全なる独立を目指す大君の戦いは、地球連邦軍による厳しい弾圧に直面することとなった。宇宙世紀0068。
No, that's our current year. That's the year we left off on. It's weird to think he already had a statue before he died and everything.
Never should have given the Dobbies the death note. You gotta have some real confidence to throw that Molotov at the gun tank.
See, there he was. That was Garma. One has to wonder how things might have progressed if Sasro had stayed around, since he was like the political planning part of the family, it seemed. It's weird because the recap is flashing back and forth too. Like they went to Rose Lucia's place after Casval got handcuffed, so it's like the flashback is jerking all around.
Right. Well, we are getting all the biggest hits of the episode here, especially with the birth of Char there.
幼い二人は広大な未知の世界と過酷な運命に直面することになった。
I love the little witch outfit Astaria has there.
そしてその
Yeah, we said that last time.
This is so cute.
大人たちの暗い争いを知るキャスバルを変貌させていく。
And oh boy did he learn.
後の赤い彗星シャア・アズナブルへと。
Yes, the origin isn't for anybody who didn't know what was going on. We're not even going to try and subvert it.
We got our prequel set up. We know where they start. We know where they're ending. How do they get
3 years from now. 2 years. Math is hard.
Oh, this is pretty.
So this is where Artesia winds up.
Yeah, just in Spain, helping people with medic stuff, you know. And here it is, the squarest car in the universe.
It's red. You think casval's in it?
Yeah. The red comet only travels in red vehicles from now on.
Makes them faster. Oh, I guess the desert's expanding.
Ah, good to know 70 years in the future, we still don't have a handle on that.
Changed her name.
Yeah, she's in hiding. It makes sense.
実の親子のようでしょ。正直に言って最初は気乗りしなかったのです。旧知の友人のためとはいえ、何の関わりもないスペースコロニーの
Jimbo do this?
I think so.
でも初めてわかりました。家庭を持つ市民の幸せが。あらま、シャワーをなさるんじゃ。いいの。プールで泳ぐから。
No, you're supposed to shower off before entering the pool, otherwise you'll get stuff everywhere in it. No!
This it does give me... never mind, he's here too. I was about to say Star Wars vibes, you know? Where Luke winds up on a desert planet, and Leia winds up in a rich family's house.
Hey, we're getting a lesson too with casval.
大君の思想も当初は容易に人々には、聞いておられますか、キャスバル様。
Man, it's only been 2 years he's already got liver spots.
I have to say, the number one thing I know about Char is that he's very oftenly just, like, completely ignoring whoever he's talking to, like, looking a completely different direction. This is where it starts.
Of course, this is what we get after Double O.
Yeah. Double O clearly going all the way with the new type concept.
Well, I meant the communication concept. Don Tiblo is a great name.
そして今、ムンゾは新しい国名としてジオンを名乗ろうとしておるのです。よりにもよってジオン大君を謀殺したザビ家の者どもの温度で。
How is this man not giving himself a heart attack?
The man is made out of heart attacks. I was just about to get deeper into my rant.
We should have a hard time climbing out of the pool, it seems.
キャスバル様。ではこの続きは。
お兄さんはエドワウよ。それと私はセーラマス。
Edward and Sayla.
やれ。成長
This is just gonna make it easier to determine her from her mother. Name-wise, I mean.
なんだ。ただいまお見えになりました。おお、来たか。
So who are they meeting with? Who are these mysterious people? And they're already gone. We don't know.
勝手なことをなさっては困る。統制局の役人、嘘をおっしゃい。あれはアナハイム社のチェルシー副社長だ。私の商売が
Anaheim.
見間違えるわけがない。とにかく私の部屋でじっくり話し合いましょう。
Literally betraying the hospitality of his host by inviting rivals over. Come on, man.
何を相談していましたか。すまん。サイド3への武装犯行の企てですね。私に断りもなく勝手なことを許しません。そんなものが成功するはずもない。それは。
Yeah, that's why I didn't run it past you.
アナハイム社は全面的に協力すると言ってくれた。武器も資金も加えて連邦中枢に働きかけて指示を取り付けてくれるとも。これでも成功しないと言えるだろうか。しかも我々の側には我々の側には我々の側
Kids?
大君の残されたお子たちがいる。完璧ではないか。
Lends you legitimacy.
Yeah, go ahead and place them on the throne and all that.
それに対して大君の意向は今も燦然と輝いておる。
You say while hiding in a castle.
Oh yeah, because he lost everything.
大君の子では生き延びられんというから私は二人をマスケの席に入れたのだ。それは一時の方便と百も承知のはず。許されんぞ。あの二人をお前さんだけのものにするのは。
At least this guy, like, has, like, a good sense of what's going on. It's like, don't involve the kids in the scheme. I'm trying to take care of them.
あの二人もそれについていくというのなら、私も潔く真剣を放棄し、この3年余りのことは全て忘れよう。なんでもないことだ。あの子たちが命を懸けた戦いに立とうと決意することに比べれば。それは困る。そんな風に言われては。あんた以外に頼りにできる人はいない。魔が差したんだ。アナハイム社ほどの巨大企業が味方。
Like, Jibba, you're literally trying to use the kids as, like, political ammunition here. You gotta calm down a little.
彼らはただ儲け話に乗ろうとしているだけだ。ジオンもザビ家も
Corporation? Interested in money?
No way. Never heard of that one before.
さもあろうが、わしは乗せられてみようと思ったのだよ。ザビ家がジオンを名乗るなど耐えられん。わしは夢を見たかったんだ。もう一度夢を。それもいかんのだろうか。わしはもう夢。
Is an old man not entitled to a little bit of happiness?
どうかもう一度わしに夢を。
Well, I mean, if Anaheim is your rival, doesn't that make you a military contractor as well?
Probably so.
Hey, it's the opposite view we get from 86.
お母さんはひどいと思いました。でももうすぐ50回、半分。100回の頃には私は今よりもっと大きくなって。
Oh, so she'll be 16.
She's keeping herself happy. No, she'll be 13.
No, she'll be 16. She was 8 when they left, and I already told you it'd be 8 years.
Oh, well, they called her 10 just now in the episode.
Yeah, because
so
it's been
like,
2 years later. Your math is all sorts of off, even after you explained it.
Oh, she's just dying. Oh.
She's been helping sick people, so she got sick. It's not uncommon. See? Doctor agrees with me.
とにかく様子を見ましょう。僕、朝までここについています。それはいい。助かるね。
I expected that to be sarcasm. Good idea. That'll help. She hung around sick people and caught their illness. You hang around her, you're gonna catch the illness, would be my thought. I mean, at least it goes to show that Edward cares for Sayla.
Yeah.
Trying to get used to saying the new names.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, the guys that were watching on the hill when the cars left.
Yep. That escalated pretty quickly, though. Thrown back into violence, whether you want it or not.
Oh, how, you're already using our name again? Grenade rolls in? No, what?
A whole damn Iron Knight.
Oh, is it Jimble? No, not Jimble.
A little tall for that.
Well, I thought Jimble would be stupid enough to get into a knight's suit to try and fight back.
I don't think we've been given a character to be in there yet, is my vibe. Oh, well. Yeah, that's death.
Unless he fell in the pool.
No, I think that's in the other courtyard. The central courtyard didn't have it. I want to be so rich you have, like, multiple courtyards.
Oh, is he gonna get captured and she gets away?
I think that's his plan.
Nope,
Oh,
never
no, they're
mind.
just both fighting there.
I'm pretty sure that's the suit of armor we saw in this place already, which means somebody here put it on.
Right. Someone on the inside is doing this, but again, we don't got a character for it. Who could it be? It's not. No, okay, so it's definitely not him then.
Was never a definitely Griff.
Well, he
You're not.
can't
You're
get
not.
the suit of armor that kills him.
You're not suspicious enough if you ever think it's definitely not. Could be another dude. He put a mask of Jimble on, killed them, then Jimble gets away. Like I said, you're not thinking conspiracy enough.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm just not at that level right now.
Anything could be anything, Griff.
Tell me that you picked up the sword. Yeah, he did.
I mean, as you're saying it with certainty. For all we know, it's one of those decorative things. Whole sword gets whole thing with.
Turns out he's wearing full plate armor. That's not gonna do shit.
It turns out it was literally made for this.
I'm sure being in the construction area with a 100-pound suit of armor is not going to end poorly, though. As demonstrated.
It's being held up by suspension.
If there's one weak board here, though, he's doomed. Oh, never mind. Good shot.
I don't think we're ever going to figure out who this is. I think this is a nobody. This is a threatening nobody. Just some jackass who ran in here with a gun and decided to go medieval.
I think it's a plant.
No.
Someone who was working at the castle and got in. Like you said, they had to have been inside to begin with.
No, I didn't say that. I said somebody ran in here and put on the outfit. It doesn't make any sense either way.
Literally.
So technically, them being his kids, wouldn't that mean they inherit now? His wealth?
You're right. They're in control of a company now. He lived.
Oh, I was confused. The way he was laying, his face, his mustache, looked like Ramba. It's like, what the hell did Ramba get here?
You did fall like 5 stories. I don't blame you, man.
Well, that explains Loum Sector, where we get the fight in
the Texas colony. Hell yeah! It's a theme park. Yo, this is great. Yo, I'm going to the Texas colony.
But again, that's where the fight happens from the first episode. It's crazy to think that the zombies have this much of a reach. That people on Earth are like, hey, those people on the colony past the moon, you should probably move somewhere near there so they won't think you're a threat and fucking try and kill you again.
Yeah, jeez. My only problem with this plan is this guy is heavily injured, and they're suggesting him taking a ride to space. That probably would kill a normal person. What does being an astronaut mean in this
You know what I think a hilarious thing I would think to do here? Not in this episode specifically, but in the whole series, is start the animation high budget and slowly get worse in budget so that you could watch the 76 series. You just slowly get used to lower and lower quality.
Oh, that's hilarious, actually.
I mean, the way he was like, you better cowtail to the zombies, makes me think that he's gonna report, hey, there was 2 kids.
Well, they definitely got the people on their side now.
And she changed her hair in 2 years.
You know, you gotta switch up the haircut every now and then.
Oh, she's lying, too. So maybe she became an ally. We gotta have different thought processes, Griff. You get to think off track for me.
He has to go to the gym again.
They wouldn't kill us both at the same time.
Garma's first line.
No, he spoke in the first episode. Dad, you do not remember anything about Garma in the first episode.
I clearly don't. We're taking Garma to the speakeasy here? What's the music choice?
Well, it's probably because 76 has so much of the music of its time.
Yeah,
you
we're
just kind
going
of have
literally
to
with
consider all the music in the show is informed by 76 now.
Yeah, we're going with busy 70s city vibe, is what the music actually is.
So is Haman still here?
Oh, we are going back to the club.
I'm assuming that's
yeah,
her.
She is. Yeah, sure is.
Does that mean Ramba might be here?
That's him on the bass guitar. Really grew his hair out, you know.
Yeah, there he is.
Being grumpy in the corner. The singing is very good. But nice intermission.
How is she not the main character? That's all I'm saying.
She's definitely one of the outstanding, coolest characters right now. You made the wrong move.
Well, I don't understand how these people are welcome around here at all, considering that it seem to be Federation forces. And, you know, how this side is completely about independence. There's a barroom blitz.
He's so used to doing these barroom brawls that he's just ready to go. I was about to say, like, man just no-sell the bottle to the head, but nope. Still damaged.
Bro, you might want to start making your way to the door.
Man literally didn't want to get involved in it.
Dozel?
Could it be? It is. And he still hasn't healed his injuries. He's still never learned a lesson in his life.
We know he keeps those scars for the rest of his life, Griff. We saw it in 79.
Come on, man. Dozel's made out of muscles.
Outer space?
Space is the place.
You're not spacing me, are you? Don't space me, bro.
Definitely would be a weird thing to do to, like, go through all that effort just to space
Dark
Rambo
colony,
when he's like
huh?
that.
将校になったのか。はい。早い昇進だな。何か手柄を立てたのか。これからするのです。はいど。大いに。
We're here to show you the cool stuff.
First mobile suit? Is this what we're gonna be?
I think so.
God, that
oh,
is,
it's so dumpy.
yeah, looks like a first to me.
It's what it should be, given its center of gravity.
I think pointedly more so that they're all wearing the Zeon uniforms would be the more concerning bit. About to fight the alien queen.
Yeah, big.
Oh,
big
mobile
power.
worker.
Yeah.
Not even a mobile suit. Mobile worker versus gun tank. So I didn't see any guns on the mobile worker though. Also, that's not giving me confidence.
With all the wires, yeah.
Why'd you start off with the artillery?
They're doing tests.
Yeah, but keep it real.
Oh, this is a test where someone could die, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good.
Took 2 tank shots and just kept going.
Yeah, but say until something like this happens.
And dodged them.
No, the wire broke in the back. You see it?
Oh, yeah.
He's basically pulled a vacuum cleaner when you've gone too far and pulled yourself out the wall.
And it's already cool enough. Like, with an early performance like that, of course you're gonna have a whole fleet of Gundams later. Or mobile suits, I guess.
We're not even at mobile suits yet. That was a mobile worker.
Exactly. It's already awesome. Haro, Haro, just rolling down the street.
Amuro? We get an Amuro? In little boxes.
Lovely rascal mascot.
Has to be Amuro.
Totally.
I don't know many kids in the series, so I'm just making guesses. So Sayla saw Amuro. Meaningless, but cool.
Look, accidentally crossing paths and then just going, ah, that's just some dude I'll never know, is hilarious for me, for prequel stuff. Wow, they really let the place go.
Oh, Rosucia passed. Does it mean I can leave the fucking tower?
He's inherited the chair, no.
She's aged poorly.
She has been stuck in a tower for 3 years. With nothing to do. Takes you back. I want to see like her past where she was involved in brawls.
No, she used to be, Rose Lucia condemns her for being basically what, Crowley is.
Right, right.
Man, is Artesia's sorrow going to be that she dies before the 8 years?
Oh no. Probably so. But oh no. Oh, they're gonna get their one wish for 5 seconds.
Also, we all know how Zabi servants are about giving medicine in liquid form.
Yeah, okay.
Just evolving, aren't we?
Oh, we are going fast.
Now that looks more like a mobile suit. We get rid of the wires? Nope.
Classic red versus blue test model.
I have to wonder if the wires are important or if they're just like data collection.
Good question. I know those are numbers I can use.
That's like Star Wars. Gallons are a
I guess it is
measurement of volume as well as newtons now.
Knock their block off.
Thank God we designed a head that didn't mean anything. Dad! Dad!
You gotta love it when someone just has to say out loud, it's a death trap. We've seen it happen already. It never changes. And footnoted
there
and
he
ignored.
is. Dock worker guy.
Yeah, yeah.
So was he testing shit too?
Yep. Yeah, he was in the cockpit. He was the one saying it's a death trap.
Oh, I recognize the other guy from the first test. I wasn't really paying attention. Well, he said MASH. I don't think he was.
I think that's the fake name they gave him for the test.
Yeah, so I did call it.
casval とアルテイシアはルームに来るのだったな。
はい。
ルームか。
He's gonna steal the mobile suit. Or the mobile worker.
It wouldn't do anything. Wouldn't matter.
Texas!
Texas Village.
They even have him dressed up.
Well, I mean, you heard his name. We know this is where Casval or Edward, I don't know what name he's going by now, is going to wind up.
Come on, you'll like Wyoming, right? Yeah, that's a Western view. Just have the guns on the wall.
Okay, so we are still doing Edward. Or Edward.
Yeah, they're still part of the family.
No, he called her Artesia a second ago, and they've referenced him as Casval still, so it's hard to tell.
Oh my gosh, that's the smallest pony ever. Casval just perfect at everything.
Put all his skills into piloting.
Yeah. Oh, there's Char.
No, I think it's pretty obvious what's gonna happen. Oh no! Edward died! Thank God you were there to save him, Char!
Oh, this is still like a fun, cute scene. And of course, real Char here is just like so nice of a kid right now. I'm a senior. I don't hang out with freshmen. Rivals.
High five?
Yeah!
That's what you do when you exchange names.
Look, if I met my doppelganger somewhere, first thing I'm doing is high-fiving, alright? Don't care if they're a time clone, don't care if they're a clone. High five.
I've already given you the conspiracy speech. No telling what happens when I meet my doppelganger. You don't want it to be like Body Snatchers, where they come to replace you, Griff. You high five and you're dead.
Look, at least the Body Snatchers have a collective society.
What's it matter if you're dead? Dear Diary, I hope nothing bad comes from this. I hope my brother didn't, you know, create a vendetta that he's willing to kill people for. I think it's her innocence that makes everything so tragic.
Oh, it really does.
Mom's dead?
Artesia.
Drop everything.
Now, is she really? Or...
Oh, she's dead. Got the news.
I don't
instantly
know, because
kited
it
walls.
felt like they were building up to a whole let's sneak her off colony thing.
Instead, they have to just give a token grave somewhere else because they'll never get to see her. All of her hopes and dreams immediately dashed. Casval taking this very well. And by that I mean he's obviously already getting into depression.
また言っていますね。不憫なことです。せめてアストライアという名前だけでも刻んでやりたいが、誰に見られるかもしれず。分かっています。秘密はお守りします。息子のシャアも何も知りません。神のご加護を祈るだけです。あれたちとあなた方心優しき人たちのために。
I guess the other thing is that it's representation, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's not there. So
yeah. They have something
God
to remember
damn it.
her by. That was the whole point.
Space
Yeah.
Texas.
Space Texas, oh yeah. Just minding my Space Texas business.
お子様たちはとても優秀でいらっしゃいます。ことにエドワウ君はどうでしょう。すぐにも上の学校へ進まれては。
はっきり言ってください。エドワウに何か？
はあ、エドワウ君の教育は私。
Yeah, takes a school on them, alright?
あれが悪いことでも。
とんでもありません。悪いどころか。何人かいた問題生たちがすっかりおとなしくなりました。彼のおかげで。
Being the most positive influence in the school, we have to get rid of him.
恐ろしいのです。彼が。
He's forming cults of personality.
長年多くの青少年を見てきましたが、エドワー君のような子は知りません。明晰な頭脳、鋭い感性、類いまれな素質を持った子です。しかし冷たいのです。あの子はまるで抜き身のナイフのようです。大いなる最悪をもたらすことがなければいいのですが。
Oh, never mind. There it is.
I mean, to be fair, that great calamity has already been started by somebody else. It's not his fault anymore.
They are well on track.
I'm calling you out, Pilgrim.
What's your deal?
Remember, this used to be like a amusement park or some shit. You have to believe that people are dressing this way just for theme, not for any other reason.
They are paid to look this way.
アズナブルさん、ものは相談だが、シャー君とあれは気が合うようだ。どうだろう、彼と同じ学校にやるというのは。
Would make it more convenient for them to flip-flop.
実はシャアは学校を中退してムンゾの士官学校を受験したんです。ジオンの士官学校？
You don't say it. That's the perfect way for me to get back.
He's already planning. You don't like your kind, stranger. Alright, now you're just being a jerk.
坊や、これはどういう冗談？こいつはひでえ。どんどん悪ガキだ。
I'm sorry, he's like, what, 12? Right? Casval is 12 at the most, right? We don't know how much older he is than his sister.
I'd say maybe 1 or 2 years.
So 12 at the outside.
14,
This
maybe?
grown... Well, remember, she's 10 right now. So, he has to be 12. Grown-ass looking man. So looks like a 12-year-old beating this other actual grown-ass man.
Didn't even phase him.
I mean, it's either that or he goes through a hard growth spurt, right? That he was maybe like 4 years older and he's 14 now.
Funnily enough, not his first kill.
その人が何をしたの？どうしてそんなにまでするの？そんなことして何になるの？お母さんが喜ぶとでも思うの？嫌いだ！そんなお兄さんなんか！
ごめんよ、アルテイシア。もうしないよ。
Though you did use, your real fucking names in front of a bunch of people. The one thing you were not supposed to do. You were leaning hard.
Yeah, that is like over 45 degrees. Jeez.
That was a Michael Jackson lean.
明日村の動物病院へ行こうね。注射は痛くないから。
No, don't kill the cat too, I swear.
てっきりダメだと思いました。だってすごい倍率なんですもの。やっぱり今暑いの。
Just waiting to see if it happens this episode. Char dies. Edward goes missing.
We're building up an excuse for him to do so. I know where this is going.
その富を使って地球人は地球を荒廃に導いてゆく。
さあ、そんな話ばかり。せっかくお祝いしていただいているのに。
ああ、すみません。僕今少し興奮してました。
まあ、そうは言って。
Let me tell you what Lieutenant Goebbels told me today.
確かに。
Char, calm down!
でも10年後、いや5年後はどうでしょう。わかりませんよ。
さあ。 お前はそんなつもりで軍人になるのか。なら父さんは許さんぞ。戦争なんてとんでもない。
まあまあ。
I guess to clarify age, so Char is in high school. They already mentioned that, and he already looks and is the same age as casval here. So he is high school age. That would put a minimum 14. So I think that gives us our age gap with Artesia.
Alright.
I'm sorry, they also killed the cat. I can never forgive the show.
Yeah, you weren't paying attention. That was clearly coming up. I was like, important. The age thing was important. I'm not trying to dissuade you there. I just read the room, Griff. I saw the cat was about to die.
Oh, it's so sad.
It is.
しばらく会えなくなる。
Especially because we were just about to go see the vet in town.
テアボロさんと話し合って決めた。僕はルームの学校へ行く。
ルーム？シャーさんの言っていた学校？でもあの人はジオンへ行って軍人になるのよ。
関係ない。僕は僕だ。さようなら、アルテイシア。
どうしてみんな行っちゃうの？
Oh, this is even worse.
Because I thought about it, and it seemed like you were losing everything, and the only thing else I could think to take away from you was myself. Oh, no wonder the name of the episode is Artesia's Sorrow.
So,
anyway, what you were saying before about the age thing that I was really just trying to get the cat's death in for. I guess that's what I was saying before. He must have had a hard growth spurt. Because before, when they were together as kids, he looked almost exactly the same age as Artesia, or Sayla. I guess I used to call him
Maybe he had
Sayla.
like an inch on her or something, yeah.
Yeah, so he had to hit a hard growth spurt if he was like, God, what age do you enter high school?
About 14.
And that was 2 years ago. So he was 12 and looked like an 8-year-old girl. Or not looked like an 8-year-old girl, but, same height and everything. So, yeah. That's a hard growth spurt. Or, sorry, he was 12. You said 14 when he entered high school. He was 12 2 years ago. And looked like about an 8-year-old girl. I guess it's right.
Welcome to trying to animate every stage of human development.
Well, no, I'm saying that equals out to prepubescence, right? Because then you hit that spurt. But I mean, at the same time, he's 14 and looks like a grown-ass man. So
let's see, though. So my speculation here, given I don't actually know a damn thing about what happens or how anyone gets anywhere, Casval's totally going to kill Char and take his place, right?
I've literally said that 100 times this episode.
Yeah, just to be clear, totally happening.
Well, I mean, correction. Edward is going to kill Char and take his place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Look, we're using every fucking name at this point, so they're not even like, we're going to commit to this name and we're going to stick with it. It's literally been Edward, Sayla, casval, Artesia, where they're all going to be boiled in. So I guess at some point now, like 4 series in, someone's going to mention Artesia and be like, are they talking about Sayla?
We're going to have like 50 aliases for every character here.
Well, they're cooking it in for us, though. I'm going to have to, do a little slash on my concept board now.
I think one of the most fun things here is, of course, Rambo Rawl getting involved in the early mobile suit test here. And literally killing himself for it.
Again, I saw 2 different guys, so it's going to be something I'm going to have to pick up on the rewatch.
Right. So we can go ahead and clarify that. But he's still, quote, killing himself as a dog of Dozel. I can only imagine that's exactly the scenario. So he's going to have the mobile suits. He's going to steal one early on, and Char is going... Or... Not
Again,
Char.
you
Casval
think...
is going to end up with...
You think he's going to steal one. I don't see that coming.
I feel like there's 2 options, right? Either A, he betrays Dozel's trust, or B, Dozel admits, I'm willing to go counter-agent.
We see that Dozel becomes Admiral Dozel in a number of years, so I don't see that happening.
Right.
I just also don't see it being worthwhile to steal one of these unless it's like, I'm going to hand it over to the Federation so they can develop their own mobile workers. See, they're not even mobile suits at this point. So that's what I'm saying. I don't understand what the point would be other than, it seems better served to me if he just steals the plans for them and hands them over to the Federation more than stealing a almost useless thing outside of the people who made it.
I do like the worker versus gun tank, though, because it solidifies, the thing I've, said a couple of times before, and that's having your mobile suit shield is the best possible thing you could ever have. It just soaks everything.
Well, I mean, on one hand, it's really good, but at the same time, you have to have it pointed at where the artillery is already shooting at you. Otherwise, it doesn't make much sense, and I don't foresee that being a situation in the real world. That would happen very often.
Well, that's why the shields get bigger and the suits get slimmer, right? It's so that they could fit the whole body behind it. And when you are going into space and you're flying forward, it's like the head first, shield up kind of deal. So you get way more coverage in the future.
We keep getting one line of text go by, and I'm thinking, oh, that's it. Oh, there's one more line.
Yeah. Whatever that means.
Alright, I was hoping there might have been a next time sort of thing, but I don't think that's something we get with the origin.
Now, we just get the vibe to the credit music, which, sorry, YouTube, you're probably not getting it.
Well, with my headset on and the sound coming from my television at such a volume that I don't quite hear it, almost was real folk blues to me.
It kind of has some of that vibe. It's all jazzy, right? So, so let's see. So what else do we want to go over here? What's on your mind?
Well, I thought the mother's dying thing might have been a subversion of expectations, considering that Ramble, or I keep calling him Ramble, was talking about, oh, they're going to Loum, right? Like, he was considering smuggling her out, especially with Rose Lucia now being dead, too.
Right. I think, like, that kind of ties into, like, who's stalking them? Like, we had, like, the weird cowboy
The zombies.
Okay. I don't think they, like, specified that during that episode, did they?
Yeah,
He
well,
just beat up the dude.
No, I mean, obviously, they said earlier in the episode, back when we were on Earth in Spain, that if the zombies find out that you're, like, a threat to them or anything, and indicating that the threat extends down to Earth from the zombie family. I mentioned that part. Well, obviously, that's the thing, then. That any threat is people on the lookout from the zombie family.
Yeah, so we ever have to ask, how does Casval end up being a cold prick by the end? And the answer is, because the zombies have been trying to kill him for years.
Well,
he has no other option.
We've constantly been getting hints from why. In the first episode, right? Anytime his mother is comforting Artesia, he's like still awake in the bed and he's looking over her shoulder. He's not like emoting anything towards his mother, but it's clear that this is wearing down on him. And then what's her name from the zombie family comes and he's like, he's very indignant at her up to the very end where he pulls the trigger, indicating that everybody is an enemy to him, his family, and his mother.
He is he's already going down the path that we can see him going down, and there's not really a route out of that. I guess maybe if Artesia pulled a stunt or something, but that's not who she is, right?
Well, she's no longer even involved. He's left.
He's going to the Zeon Military Academy.
Also, I believe you mean Sayla.
Sayla. God damn it. We're gonna pile on the aliases. That's what we're gonna do.
Well, I'm not even doing this as a joke much anymore. I think the more I say it back to you, the more likely I'm to remember. Also, you probably remember. If I keep saying Artesia, Sayla, Artesia, right? You're just gonna bake it in more. So if they use any of them in the future, like say 5 months from now, when we're like in 76, the OG Gundam, and somebody says to Sayla, "Oh, they're looking for Artesia." You and me will be like, "Shit, we've said it not fucking enough. We know that's her."
I feel like those names aren't going to stick forever, but we'll see which side it lands.
I'm not willing to let it go.
Yeah. Let's see. Anything else like big we want to go back over real quick too?
I mean that everybody on Munzo is already wearing Zeon outfits.
Oh yeah, the Zeon. It's going strong. It's getting its momentum, and we know where it's going.
Well, I mean, they're still like bending the knee to the Federation now, to the point where it's like they don't have gun tanks of their own. They still have to borrow them.
They have to. They don't even borrow them. They did a quote through back channels. They basically stole it.
Well, he said he did on loan or on borrowed or something like that.
Yeah. Still, it's not great for them. Yeah, they still need more momentum. They need more support, but they got the reach, like you said before.
Well, in 2 years, they've started developing their military. That's why Char was like, in 5 years, a war might happen. Or the war is going to happen maybe in 5 years, something like that.
Right, the thing to look forward to in the next episode or something is going to be the obvious militarization of Zeon, where they are making factories and producing stuff on their own. Which is why, like, they're starting with the mobile worker here, because this is their prototype, they're going to start mass producing it, then they're going to be cool.
I anticipate we're either going to do another time jump, or I anticipate we are going to do another time jump. However long it takes for Edward to get through high school and join the military. Because I would suspect the most logical story point would be Edward in the military.
Yeah, I think that's probably where we're going to pick up next time, and we're going to start the Legend of Char, I think, from here on.
Well, no, because we still have to do the switch. The switch still has to happen.
Oh yeah, we get fun conspiracy murder episode then.
Because you don't want to start the Legend of Char when Char is another guy. This is literally the hero thing from Gundam Wing right now, where hero is some other guy, and the guy we know as hero is some dude without a name. So we still got to make the switch first.
So there we go. So I think that probably covers like all the real big points for today then. So I guess let's just go ahead and wrap it up. This has been Stoneface Reactions, everybody. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we'll catch you next time. See you around. Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video and what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?